video. Now, in today's video, we've got a few things to be doing. We've got the stainless steel headers that need cleaned up and heat wrapped. We've got the original speedo for the car that needs to be converted to miles per hour because it's currently in like kilometers, which is the speedo from Japan. So yeah, definitely a few things to be cracking on with, and hopefully can learn from it as we go along. So let's get cracking. Right, I think first things first, we'll get these headers cleaned up. Now they are stainless steel, but they are just pretty rusty and got a lot of kind of surface rust, but they're in okay condition for now. In case anyone's wondering why I'm actually putting this in the car, it's because the one that's on the car at the moment is blown. This one's actually been welded here just because there was a flexi here at one point, but someone's obviously just put a bit of pipe there for some reason to save it blowing in the future. But so the one on the car at the moment is the original one, and it's like cast iron, which is crap. So yeah, I've got this one to go on. Like I said, it needs a good clean, as you can see. It's just mainly surface rust, there's nothing major. I will be probably buying a brand new one at some point, but because this is quite urgent and it needs replaced, I got this one quite cheap, so it'll do the job. Now, we've got a 20 metre of titanium heat wrap, and we've got some stainless steel tie wraps. So, I think what we're going to do first is get a bucket of water, because it makes things a lot easier when you're heat wrapping, because this has got some really horrible, I'm not sure what it is, but it makes your skin really itchy, so it's very important to wear gloves and dip this in water so it's nice and soaking for installing it onto the manifold. So, let's get cracking. So the first thing I'm going to do is let this just soak in water for now, just so it kind of gets really nice and wet for going on the manifold. Makes it a lot easier. Saves all this kind of horrible, kind of itchy stuff getting everywhere. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to soak this in WD-40 and get a good wire brush, get rid of all this loose surface rust, then we can take it from there. Right, that's manifold had a good clean. It's far from perfect, but you know, it'll do the job. This won't be staying in the car forever anyway, but I probably will buy a brand new one at some point, but the one that's in the car desperately needed replaced because it was got a massive blow around here. So this is better, this one was on the car, and I got a good price anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's a little bit better, got off all the loose surface rust, and it's okay for now. There's no holes in it, there's no cracks, it's in good usable condition, so that'll do for now. So what we'll do next is crack on with this heat wrap. Now, there is a certain technique to putting this on, but the main thing you need to do when you're installing heat wrap is just making sure that when you're wrapping it around the pipe, that you keep it nice and tight and snug and not loose, just to ensure it doesn't fall off the car, obviously, over time. But yeah, it's better to put it in water and use gloves because this stuff can really irritate your skin. It's really not good. So, with all that said, let's crack on. Before we crack on, here's a quick preview of some stuff that you'll be seeing going on in the car in a future video. All this nice kind of, I would say brand new, but nice original interior trim. As I'm not sure if I've shown you, but where is it again? Like for example, here is the old one that came off the car. Now, as you can see, someone's made a really bad job of painting it, and that looks terrible. So this is going on the car, nice and original, all in good condition. The only thing is, right, this one here is kind of like grey, so, but I'm not too fussed about that. I mean, it'll look okay once it's on the car, but the cherry on the cake is this lovely Nardi steering wheel. Been wanting one of these for a while, and it's in okay condition. A little bit of wear around here, but nothing you're going to notice. I mean, at the end of the day, it is quite an old steering wheel, but I got a good price and I'm really happy with it. So, can't wait to get it on. You will be seeing this in a future video. We'll probably a dedicated video to a complete interior overhaul. So you'll be seeing that in future content. So, but for now, let's get cracking with this. Right, we're getting there. I mean, it is quite a tedious process, but what you want to do is make sure, leave it all kind of loose until you get to the very end of your pipe. Because at least at that point you can always make adjustments by, if you need to add more layers to the pipe. You can always like just take more out if you roll. And then what you want to do is once you get to the very end, you can you turn it by hand and make sure everything is really nice and tight, and making sure you got nice even layers. This isn't, I'm not actually done this bit yet. But you can get the idea. Like just one layer after layer, and then until you get into your pipe. Right, that's one pipe done. I must say that actually looks quite good. The tips I can give when you heat up in a manifold is definitely make sure that your layers are even, and also make sure it's nice and tight. Because the last thing you want is this flapping about in your car and it looking flapping about. You know, you don't want that. So what you want to do is, once you've got one section done, like obviously how I've done it here, once you've got enough wrap for one pipe, what you want to do is pull out the section you've cut off with one hand, and then use the other hand to turn the wrap like this way for your hand, while pulling this bit, like say this bit here, and that will assure, and you do that evenly right the way down to make sure there's nothing's loose and everything's nice and snug. And that's how you do it properly. Now, as you can see with mine, all the airs are even, nothing looks messy, everything's nice and tidy. And then once you've done it, once you've cut it off at the end, you just secure it with a metal tie wrap. That's your job done. So, I'm not going to film much else. You already have a rough idea of the process. There is kind of plenty tutorials on YouTube how to do this kind of heat wrap, but I mean, I've never really heat wrap manifold before either, but I mean, anyone can do it. It just takes practice and patience really, and as you can see, that's the end result. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack up the other pipes and then right, that's another pipe done. The thing's come out okay. It's quite a tricky job. It's quite tedious. Takes quite a while. You do need quite a bit of patience to do it as well. I mean, it doesn't need to be perfect because it's an old kind of manifold anyway. But that's the heat wrap on. It's nice and secure, nice and tight. It's secured in with stainless steel tie wraps, so it's not going anywhere. So next, I'm going to crack on with is wrapping these two pipes here individually. We can wrap this one as well. Then double wrap the pipes at once. So let's crack on with that. Oh, that's the manifold completely heat wrapped now. Everything's nice and snug, nothing's loose. So that's the main thing, that when you're heat wrapping an exhaust manifold, is that everything's nice and tight and snug, and that's basically all you need to worry about. So now that that's done, we're going to move on to the Speedo. Now what we're going to do is, as you can see, it's currently in, well, ignore that little kind of sticker there because that's not the correct. It's actually in kilometers, because someone just stuck a sticker there and thought that would work, but not really. So, what we got here off eBay is this kind of stick-on fascia. Now, as you can see, it's in miles per hour, and everything there is as it should be. So, we're getting to installing that right now. So, we're basically going to remove this plastic fascia, which basically is held on by these kind of little plastic clips. You can car focuses. Yep, these little kind of plastic clips just around here. So we're going to get to removing them, and then we will take it from there. Right, now that's the Speedo stripped down, what I'm going to do next is remove these speedo needles. Now, be careful when you're doing this because these things are quite delicate. So what we're going to be using to remove them is these kind of like interior trim removals. Well, basically what you're going to want to do is you kind of pry them in, but you kind of put this kind of fork bit in behind the needle, and then that should remove them. So then once we've done that, we're going to remove the actual kind of these bits here, which are like kind of plastic bits, which are held in by some very small screws next to the speedo needles. Now, so we're going to crack on with removing these needles, and then we'll crack on with removing this cover. That's all the needles off. I must warn you, if you are doing this yourself, it is a possibility that some might break when you're removing them, or when you refit the needles, it might not go back in the same position, but you can't get it back to the original position, but it just takes a bit of tinkering, if you know what I mean. So, these things should just lift off now. Oh, I forgot to say, there is 2 small screws here, and so is there, and there, and there. So, but this is the first one we're taking off, so it comes off just like that. And if you want to, change the mileage, you can do it with this. I'm not going to go into how you change the mileage because, but it's pretty easy. You just remove this little kind of like mechanism here from behind. There's a few screws that hold on it in behind. Then what you do is you can just move these things with like a pick or something like that to any mileage you want. I know I shouldn't be telling you this, but hey, I don't care. So let's get these things on. Now they are just stickers, I believe. So I'll set up the camera mount and we'll see how we can get these onto these. So what I think that's what we're going to do is these just stick just onto there. So let's get cracking. Right, that's one on. I must say it is quite tricky making sure you get everything lined up, but I think for a first attempt that is quite good actually. And I must say it does look a lot better as well. But yeah, I must say do take your time when you're doing this and make sure you get everything lined up. I mean, like I said, for a first attempt I think I've done not bad myself. But like I said, it is very tricky, so just take your time when you're doing it. So I think what we're going to do is move on to the next one. Like I said, they're held in by very small screws, so they're not very tight, so they're very easy to come out. Just you have to be careful in case you break them because they are quite delicate. So let's get cracking. Right, that's the speedo done. Like I said, the only you have to be careful about when you're doing this is basically when you lay the sticker onto the original speedo, is making sure everything's lined up correctly and things like that, so nothing's out of place. And mind you, it depends how you like it really. I mean, I like my things looking neat and tidy, but another thing to be careful about is just put these needles back in, which will be the next step. Now where are they? Here they are here. Now one of them actually snapped unfortunately, so that was one for the speedo. So unfortunately I have to source another one. It's just one of the things that happens with modifying cars. Things do break. It has to be expected. But that's not a problem with things that, I mean, they just pop straight on, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. So we're at cracking putting these back on, then see how we go on. I'll show you into the video. The problem we're having is one of the needles has snapped. So I'm not sure you can see it on the camera. Right. Not sure you can see it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, as you can see, the little needle snapped actually inside the hole. Now listen, I've worked on many speedos and cars before. I've done lots of stuff to do with speedos. I've changed the needles. I've replaced things like this before, rebuilt these things before, and I've never had this problem before. These things normally just pop out, no problem at all. This one came out fine, and so did that one, kinda. But these two ones have snapped inside the hole, so basically these clocks are just scrap. But these things are still of use. But the good thing is, right, I've got a spare speedo, which we have here. Now, it's already got the conversion done. Obviously, in ways, I can see why someone's left these ones like the normal colour, because obviously they break, but that doesn't matter. These are the spare speedos that we got on the car now. But these ones are basically scrap. I'm not too sure what to do with them. It's just a shame that we didn't get these ones working as well, but that's just the way it is. I mean, you have to kind of expect that on old cars, things will break when you're modifying them. It's just the way it is. And you can say things like, oh, we need to be careful. Trust me, I'm very careful when it comes to working on cars, especially with things like this. And it's just and sometimes it's just these things that happen, But anyway, I'll get into the video, but I know I didn't really record much, but it's been a pretty shitty day today so far, so I did my best in recording stuff and giving bits and bobs of advice. So if you did like this video, as always, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, I'll see you in the next video.